Hey everyone, how's it going? Should I turn my camera on?
Yeah, we'd love to see you.
All right, great. Let's get this set up. Perfect. Nice to meet you all. So, just to start off right at the bat, Atom Foundation is the company I'm a part of. I'm the DAO manager. I recently joined, not to be mistaken with Cosmos. So, similar name, similar logo almost, but not to be mistaken. We are a different entity entirely.
Okay,
So,
noted.
perfect. So yeah, no, it's really nice to be here. If you have, any questions along the way, just feel free to ask or drop them in the chat. If you have something more specifically you want to talk about, we can hit on that because I'm probably just going to give a general overview, then we can go more specifically into whatever you want to talk about. So the Atom Foundation. Should I share my screen?
Absolutely. You should have the ability to do so. Let me know if you don't.
Wonderful. Okay. So here we are. So this is the Atom Foundation. The Atom Foundation was founded around 2016, and the team was just building tech, securing patents, and just developing some crazy awesome ideas all around the concept of liquidity on the blockchain. That is the only thing we focus on, is liquidity on the blockchain. And liquidity is such a vague concept. So there's so many projects and so many solutions that can go along with the concept of liquidity. And over time, we've been silently building, just behind the scenes, just grinding and building. No marketing, not raising big money, just building. And so we have a lot of projects in the pipeline. And it's really exciting because right now we're finally starting to release some of these projects. And these are just some, just some right here. These are just some of the projects we have. Now, many of you may have heard of the Atom Foundation through our biggest project, Smart Swap Exchange, and also Deegan Swap. When we launch a project, we do it a little bit differently than the market. Actually, we do it a lot differently. But one thing we do is we release two projects at the same time. So right now, we've been in the process of releasing Smart Swap and Deegan Swap. And I'm sure some of you in this chat have heard about it. And it's really important that we just quickly bring up what Smart Swap is, because it's almost a foundational core of many of our other projects. All of our tech works together to help these projects coexist. So what Smart Swap is it's a one-click, 100% decentralized cross-chain swap, but it's slippage-free. It's the first slippage-free cross-chain swap, first slippage-free swap. And it's been crazy complicated to build something that has zero slippage. And that's probably a call for a whole nother time. I mean, you can talk to me about it. It's a very, very complicated project, and it's just getting finalized now, and we're about to release it on the market with Deviant Swap. But in this call, I'm going to talk about PDO.Finance and freez. So those are the two projects that I really manage more closely. And I really want to start with PDO because that's the one that I've been putting a lot of focus in lately and really getting some strong partnerships. And I really think the chat will, and this community here will really get excited about it. So we can quickly jump over to a sneak peek. So this community is going to get a sneak peek. So I'm going to open up. No one's really seen this. This is the PDO testnet, like sort of how our website's going to look. And if you see in the corner, it says Starter. So I'm not really supposed to announce anything there, but one of our partners is Starter, the launchpad. And what PDO is, a PDO is not an IDO. All of you have heard of IDO, initial offer, initial this, initial that. But what about a secondary offering? What about a post-Dex offering? In crypto, there are no secondary offerings. And it's absolutely crazy because I come more from a traditional financial background. And to not see secondary offerings just blows my mind. It's like if you went on Shark Tank, right? You're pitching the sharks, you're pitching Mark Cuban, and you go up there and you're like, hey, I want $30 million. What do these companies raise? Okay, maybe I want $5 million with my fully diluted valuation of my company at 30 million. They're going to laugh you out the door, because that's your initial round. That's your angel investing. That really is what initial offerings are. It's your first entry onto the market. You don't need to raise $5 million with a huge valuation. But the reason projects do this is because there's no option. Once they launch on the market, Once they're trading on an AMM, how do they raise more money? They have really two options, and they're flawed. One is OTC, which is sketchy. It's not decentralized. It's not what we believe in. And it doesn't support the little guy. It doesn't support the community. And it just doesn't work well. So what's the other option? You sell tokens, right? We all seen that. Projects have 15% of tokens in reserves, and they have marketing tokens. They have all these great tokens, right? But if they need to liquidate those tokens to actually get cash to, I don't know, pay a developer, or I don't even take a vacation, right? They deserve, right? They deserve to get some liquidity. They can't. So we're circling back to this concept of liquidity on the blockchain. The projects have tokens that they can sell in a sort of secondary offering, but they can't, because if they sell their tokens, they're dumping on their community and they're hurting their project and they're hurting their investors. It simply does not work. So a post-decentralized offering is needed. And that's what we created. So this is more like your Series A, your Series B, your Series C, and so on. And what we do at the Atom Foundation is we build great products, but we don't build the entire store. We don't, if I built a great product, I'm not gonna build a Walmart, right, to sell my product. That seems ridiculous. Why not just let other people use our product? So everything we do, all of the products we create are 100% free. Yes, I said it, 100% free, white label licenses. Anyone in just 2 freaking clicks, sorry, I get really excited, in just 2 clicks can take our tech and adopt it and use it. And just like that, they look like they own our tech and they're integrating it into their platform. And who is PDO great for? Well, launchpads. And that's really where I came in to the Atom Foundation. I started as an active investor in SmartSwap and DegenSwap, and my passion for what the Atom Foundation is building brought me to help them with PDO. I come from a launchpad background. I started at DAO. Many of you may know DAO. And at DAO, I was helping with their Zengit launchpad, doing a lot of IDOs, right? Right when launchpads were getting hot, right? I don't know if you guys remember, but beginning of the year, we sort of had DAO, we had Paid, and it was crazy, right? The concept of being able to get into a project before they launch pre-sales was the rage. Now it's a commodity, right? There's what, 300 launch pads? Anyone can get into these. You have to hold a lot of tokens, right? So the idea slowed down, right? The first half of 2021 was the IDO. 2022 will be the PDO. Secondary offerings are much, much, much bigger than initial offerings in traditional finance. Secondary offerings in crypto will be much, much, much bigger than initial offerings, in my opinion. So I'm happy to walk you through how it all works. And just walk you through the technology as a whole. So basically, like I said, launchpads will adopt our tech. We make it a free license, and I'm currently networking with 30 plus launchpads who are going to use our tech and scale our solution. So a PDO allows a project at any point, any project that's currently trading on an AMM, on a decentralized exchange, to sell as many tokens as they want, an unlimited amount of tokens, without dropping the market price. The market price won't drop 1 penny. So it seems great for the project, right? They can raise money for development, they can cash out safely, and we're also going to talk about really one of my favorite parts of PDO, which is a little bit more technical, but I'm sure you guys, the last project was extremely technical. So if you understood this, you'll understand PDO for sure. The third part is not just raising money for operations for a team or being able to cash out safely. It's increasing liquidity. So we have a solution to allow projects to fundraise to increase liquidity. But so let's walk back to this. So they can sell as many tokens as they want on the market at the average market price. So that's what they're doing. To basically make it so that a project, when you sell something and it doesn't drop the price, if you price something at the average market price, it won't bring down the price. So by selling an unlimited or a lot at the average market price, it's not dropping the market price. But now you're probably thinking, why would a user want to buy at the average market price in a PDO, right? When they can just go to Uniswap or PancakeSwap or whatever swap and buy it for the same price, right? And not have any restrictions. Well, we give users 3 great benefits. So let's really explain what a PDO is. A PDO is a very fancy, smart staking pool. That's really what it is. It just comes down to that, to being that simple. And how it works is a project designates, okay, hey, we're going to do a secondary offering. We're going to sell 1 million tokens at $1. Or actually, the price is variable, so let's not, their price is currently $1. So they say they're going to sell 1 million tokens, right? They could go to Uniswap, click sell, dump the price. We don't want that, right? So, or what they do is they designate a PDO or a fancy staking pool. And the first thing they do, they can set many criteria. They can set the length of the staking pool. They can set the lock of the staking pool. They can set sort of like the vesting of the staking pool. They can set KYC. Basically, like setting up an IDO, they can do that through the staking pool. But really, the most important thing they can set and dictate is the APY, right? We know staking, right? We're there, we're yield farming, we're trying to get an APY, but this is a little bit different. If a project sets a staking pool, a PDO, a secondary offering that lasts, let's say, easy numbers. For example, 1 year, 365 days, and they give you a 100% APY. They put their 1 million tokens, in a smart contract that's slowly distributing to the staking pool. A 100% APY means that if you buy day 1 and at the end of the 365 days, you would have got twice as many tokens, which means your cost basis would have been 50% less. So you're basically buying tokens for a 50% discount, right? That's how the APY works. The APY in the staking pool serves as your discount to the market price. So now projects are able to sell their tokens at the average market price, but in this staking pool, they're coming in as a discount to the market price. So now you can start to see where it gets interesting, right? If Chainlink, right, one of my favorite projects, decided to do a secondary offering, right, and they wanted to, raise money or grow liquidity or whatever the reasons were, and they offered me a chance to buy their token at, I don't know, a 50% discount, a 40% discount, even a 30% discount, and all I had to do was hodl for a certain amount of time, you betcha I would buy in because I love Chainlink. I'm a big believer. Why would I not support them? If someone said I had to hold Chainlink for 6 months, let's say that's the length of the staking pool or the PDO, and I get a 30% discount, I'm buying. I am buying right now. And don't worry, we have mechanisms in place so that you can't just get your tokens and then dump afterwards. We have another technology called the dumper shield, which I'll get into shortly. But that's really the main idea right now. So now these projects are able to sell as many tokens as they like into a PDO, and the price follows the market price. So that's the really exciting part. When you just sell on Uniswap, right, you just sell at like a fixed price and then you're probably dropping it down, right, because of liquidity. Here, you're constantly selling at different prices. So if your price of your token's going up, you're just going to be selling at that new price. So that's really the benefit of a PDO. It's a secondary offering that goes over time, right? When we do IDOs, you're selling at some random price that you dictated was fair. Here at the PDO, you're selling at the market price, but with a discount because of an APY. So that's the one benefit to the user, right? We were saying they get a discount on tokens for hodling, whatever the project decides. The second benefit is slippage free. In a PDO, there is zero slippage. So you can buy as many tokens as the PDO allows with zero slippage. And the last thing that a PDO offers is a function which is called, what's it called again? Okay, I forget the technical name, but basically, sorry, that's my dog in the background. I named them after a cryptocurrency, Wabi, in 2017, but that cryptocurrency went bankrupt, so it wasn't a great name. So anyways, to jump back on track, we have a third really great benefit that allows you to do risk-free PDO purchases. So we take the opportunity cost out of buying into a PDO. So those are 3 great benefits to users. And the 3 great benefits to sellers or to projects was, just as we spoke about. So
Was
I
that
think
the
the last,
dumper shield?
yeah, go ahead.
Was that the one you were going to talk about, dumper shield?
Yeah, sure. I can walk through the dumper shield. I think I'll talk about one thing real quick, and then I'll talk about the dumper shield, and let's just get into examples, right? We can just get into examples on how the PDO works and our partners and all of that. The last thing I really want to talk about was raising for liquidity. A lot of projects struggle because they don't have enough liquidity, you know, on their AMMs, right? Especially even post-hack projects, right? They get their liquidity drained. So a project can dictate when they decide that they're raising money, right? When that project decides, hey, we're selling 1 million tokens, they don't have to take all of the funds in cash, in BNB, in Ethereum. They can actually push a percentage to their liquidity pool. And this has an amazing benefit that not only does it increase their liquidity, it actually increases their price. And this is where it gets extremely interesting. So the reason that PDO was first created was for those projects that I mentioned, SmartSwap and DGetSwap. We wanted to give our users a secondary offering, another chance to get in at a great discount price. That's what a secondary offering is. So we created the PDO, and we realized, wow, this concept can stand on its own feet. This concept can revolutionize fundraising in crypto, because now projects can continue to raise money as they see fit. It's not like right now where projects feel the need to raise, you know, tens of millions of dollars because there's no other way for them to raise money currently. It's unsustainable how it works right now. So that's why we originally developed the PDO. And what we do is we raised actually enough money in our initial round, in our IDO round. So we don't need any more money, but we're still going to do a PDO. And the reason for that is we're going to push 100% of the funds raised to liquidity. And this is where it gets really exciting. So let's walk through an example. Max me, I buy into a PDO. Chainlink, right? My favorite project is offering a PDO, and they're selling their tokens. And I come in with $1,000. Let's say it's on Ethereum. I come in with $1,000 worth of Ethereum, and I can just directly buy their token, right? Let's say they said they need 100% of the funds. So how does it work, right? You got Chainlink, you got my Ethereum. I go in and I basically buy the Chainlink into that PDO, and then I'm locked into that staking pool for however long of a time, with whatever APY, with whatever locking period, with whatever KYC, with whatever restrictions they set up. Real simple. Now my $1,000 worth of Ethereum went to the team's wallet. Easy, done. But let's say the project, like us, doesn't need money. They need more liquidity. They want their price to go up. Let's walk through the example again. Chainlink now wants 100% of their funds to go to liquidity. Max has $1,000 worth of Ethereum. I go, and my money actually doesn't go buy the tokens into the PDO. A little different. My money goes to the AMM. My money goes to Uniswap. So my money splits in two. I have my $500 worth of Ethereum now, and my $500 worth of Ethereum. And this $500 worth of Ethereum goes to the market. It goes to Uniswap and buys Chainlink. And now it takes that Chainlink, it pairs with the Ethereum, and it goes and sends to the LP. And the team will get the LP keys after the PDO is complete, 30 days afterwards, to make sure there's no possibility of a rug pull, right? We don't want that. So what just happened here? The team basically said, hey, yeah, we're going to sell tokens. And by selling tokens, they more or less actually had me go and buy tokens on an AMM and increase their liquidity, driving up their price and driving up their liquidity. And I'm happy because I still got my my Chainlink. So it's a really unique way to either, you know, to raise money or raise for liquidity. That was really what I wanted to talk about there. Like I said, our scaling solution is to not just host PDOs on our website. No, it's to leverage our connections and leverage all the projects that need to do PDOs with the launchpads, right? The launchpads have all the networking. So they have all the projects, they have the large community. So why not let them do the tech? So like I said, this is starters PDO. This is more or less how it will look. You know, I'll just quickly walk through. I'm not really supposed to be showing all the details, but it's okay. I want to show you guys. So long story short, we're partnering with these launch pads, and they'll be taking our tech, and they're going to be doing PDOs for their clients. And there's a lot of big names that already want to line up and do secondary offerings. And a lot of big launch pads want to host these secondary offerings. The launch pads make money, and the projects are going to raise money, and we earn money on the back end. But what we do is we actually reimburse all the money to the users, and we can talk about our fees in a second if you want to go into tokenomics, which is my favorite thing. But the last thing I really want to talk about before you have questions, and we talk more about the tokenomics, and then we can also jump over to a different project, Freeze, if you'd like. I know this one was already a little bit heavy, and the concept's sort of hard to wrap your head around quickly. But the dumper shield. So I am a big pre-sale guy. I'm a big tokenomics guy. I've always been a fan of trying to figure out the best vesting to eliminate dumping. I don't know if you guys have ever invested into a project and got dumped on so hard. Maybe you got dumped on by early investors. Maybe you got dumped on by whoever. It's a terrible feeling, and we hate that. So vesting is a start, right? We sort of saw the history of vesting change, right? 2017, there wasn't really vesting. No one really knew what vesting was. Then they started to add cliff vesting, where every maybe quarter you'd get some tokens unlocked, or every month. Problem is then there's just these big drops, right? We've seen that in charts, right? It just goes crashes. So now they implemented linear vesting, and that has some pros and cons, but now there's constant sell pressure. So we changed it, and we created the dumper shield. And more or less, the dumper shield is natural vesting. There's a really smart contract, and it basically dictates how much the market can support, how much sell pressure the market can support. And it does all this quick math, and it says, okay, it can support this much without dropping the price. So it basically only sells into buy pressure. And we have other ways to create natural buy pressure, through our tokenomics and so on and so forth. But basically this way, we've solved the issue of dumping. So you're really, as an early investor, you're only able to liquidate your tokens on the market through this gateway, this smart contract. And when you sell, you have to be selling so that you're not dumping. You're still selling to price support, so no one gets hurt. But I know you're probably saying, what if there's not enough buy demand? You could be stuck at this gateway for a while. Don't worry. We have an OTC dashboard, a really awesome. It looks like Binance almost. You can just sell OTC to anyone. So you can sell OTC under the dumper shield at any price. If I want to sell OTC for free, I can do it because it doesn't hurt the market. But if I want to sell in the market, I have to go through this gateway, and I experience natural vesting, or it's almost like natural vesting. So that's the concept of the dumper shield. I actually think I have the UI right here. Let's see if I can open it up. And that's the thing with Atom Foundation, right? This dumper shield alone is insane technology. It's been being developed for 4 or 5 years, and it's not even a standalone project. We are just okay, yeah, let's include it into PDO. And how we include it into PDO is we offer at the end of a PDO, you can use the dumper shield, or launch pads can adopt the dumper shield. So hopefully what we hope to see is by next year, we hope projects aren't going to be launching with vesting. We hope they're going to be launching with the dumper shield. Our projects are. So you're going to be able to see that real soon in Q4, how the dumper shield works in real time. But anyways, here's the dumper shield for you. So this is our our OTC marketplace. Right, and so it's just exciting, all the different technologies we have, and they all, like I said, they all start to work together. So, I think that covered that. Before I jump into tokenomics and the fee structure and why I'm so excited that PDO and Freeze, I forgot to mention, are open to investment only from value-added investors. So we are very strict about who we let on because we're in a unique situation. Our tech is basically built. Right, we've been building this tech for 4 or 5 years, so we don't really need the money to do. We need money for future ideas and future. We're adding more chain support. Right now, we're on BSC and Ethereum. We're working closely with the Matic team to add Matic, and we're going to integrate every single chain for all of our projects. Right, that's costly, sure. So we do need some funds, but for the most part, we just need value-added investors. And the beauty of our projects is that a lot of our scaling solutions, a lot of this the adoption and the success of our tokens comes through our partners adopting our technology, right? For PDO, it's straightforward. It really is launch pads. Or you could even see big influencers maybe adopting the PDO, right? Imagine BitBoy, right? When he backs a project, maybe a project will see like, hey, BitBoy, we'll allow you to do a secondary offering for your community, and we'll give you a 10% discount on the market price, right, of the tokens. I mean, it's amazing marketing for the project. It's great for BitBoy and his community. So I could see influencers becoming the new launch pads with our technology, and in just 2 clicks they can have it. Launch pads, like I said, are going to be great adopters. So that type of stuff, right? Those are the type of investors we're going to allow in who help our technology. So they are open to investment, and PDO and freeze. And I can go through the tokenomics in a second, but I think they're pretty cool. They're very different, but they're pretty cool. So anyways, yeah, I mean, I talked a lot. Does anyone have any questions, seriously, in the chat or anywhere about what PDO is and just the vision behind secondary offerings for crypto?
Max, I have a question.
Absolutely.
What is your definition of value-added investors? How do you define that?
Sure. It's anyone who supports the long-term success of our DAO. We are big believers in a DAO. Everything we do is decentralized and as a family. And we if you're well connected in the space, you can really help us, right? You can get us on with our partners, like with SmartSwap, MantraDAO, because I used to work on MantraDAO. They're going to be taking on the SmartSwap. So you're going to be able to, move tokens, slippage-free swaps. MXC or MXXC, I think is what they rebranded as or whatever, right? That huge exchange, they're going to be taking SmartSwap license and so on and so forth, right? So if you can connect us with those types of projects, absolutely. I mean, that's extreme value added. But if you don't have that, that's okay. We all started somewhere, right? I'm young. I'm pretty new to the space. I've developed these connections over time, but not everyone has them. That's okay. We have this one guy who draws pictures, right? He draws awesome meme pictures for our community and everyone loves him and he's part of the family. I consider that just as much value add. We're really trying to build a strong DAO, a strong family. So everyone can contribute a different way, but we want people who really believe in our projects.
Awesome. Questions for Max?
Yeah, then I'll walk through quickly. Like if you're more interested in like the investment standpoint, for sure. Sorry, there's so many tabs. Let me move some things. Here, I think move everything. Cool. I'll just walk quickly through the tokenomics, and then we can talk about whatever else you guys want to talk about. And if something's clear on if something's not clear on PDO, just seriously, just drop me a message right now. Or maybe you guys have been. I don't know if I'm looking at the messages. Oh, my bad.
No, I can read you the you don't have to focus on the chat. I'll read.
Fantastic. Yeah. So cool. Let's jump over to. I think we talked about all this. So how does PDO make money? Right? Because I keep mentioning the word free. And when you say free, there's not a lot of money involved in free. So what we do is when you want to buy into a PDO, right? When I give that example of Max with his $1,000 in Ethereum, we charge a very small fee to Max. What was the fee? I think it was a 2.5% fee. But we reimburse Max 100% of his gas and his 2.5% fee. And you're probably thinking that's crazy, right? How can you reimburse gas and fees? Right? My gas fees on Ethereum are probably tens of thousands of dollars now, trading. But we do that. We absolutely do that, and I'll walk you through that in 1 second. And 80% of that fee that we get is used to buy back PDO token. Buyback, and that's sort of how we can reimburse too, is with that buyback. And then the other 20% goes to support Atom Foundation. So really, Atom Foundation has tokenomics that support if the projects do well, Atom Foundation will do well. And we have plans to list on the NASDAQ in the next year or two. And all of our revenue from our projects will basically be directly linked to our stock performance, which is going to be very, very interesting. So let's And then a project themselves, right? A project will host a PDO off of a launch pad or a licensee, and they will negotiate their own deal, which is really a great structure for us. Because if a launch pad wants to launch a project and it's their close friend, they can do it for free for them and not take a percentage of the raise. If they want to charge that project 5%, we don't care, right? We're earning our revenue off of the users who come in to buy into the PDO, and then we're refunding them. And one last thing I also want to mention is that, I don't know about you guys, but I am so sick. I'm so sick of having 300 plus launch pads and having to hold $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 worth of tokens in each one of these launch pads to get allocation, to get guaranteed allocation. With PDO, it's different because it's our tech. We can offer something called cross display, whereas if you host a PDO on one launch pad, it can be seen and active on any launch pad, on anyone who has that license. So that's up to the project to decide. But isn't that amazing? Now, as a user, I can come in through 80 entrants and invest into these PDOs. We're democratizing it. We're making it finally fair again, right? I don't have to hold 30,000 in 6 different launch pads. And then launch pads can still do private PDOs. Don't worry, they can do their private PDOs. Maybe they want to give their community members or their top tier holders better terms, better APYs. They can do that. But for the most part, we're making it really fair again, which is exciting because early 2021, the whole launch pad thing was fair, right? There was only 1 to 2 launch pads. With 300 launch pads or whatever, it's not fair anymore. There's some projects are launching here and there, and as a community, we're missing out on great launches. So tokenomics are very interesting. As a team, we take 0 tokens. Literally, I had to go and buy my own allocation in our projects out of my own pocket, because our money comes from, like I said, that success. That we take the 20% as the Atom Foundation. That's where our money comes from. So 0 team tokens. Our interests are 100% aligned. And what we do is we offer some crazy, crazy terms. So we, firstly, don't discriminate. We don't hold multiple rounds type thing, like seed, private, strategic. No, we charge everyone the same fee. We charge the public the same fee. Right? Have you ever seen a launch pad charge the public the same price that they charge seed? Well, we do that because we don't believe in discriminating. So for PDO, it has amazing tokenomics. We actually really released it during that mini bear market we had. So we tried to give really good terms, probably too good of terms, but that's your guys' benefit. More or less, you're going to be getting in at a price of, so we give an APY while you're locked. It gets a little confusing, but just long story short, know that you're getting in at a price of 0.0025, so a quarter of a penny, and is listing at 2 cents. So at IDO, you're up 8 times. And you're probably thinking that's ridiculous. And you're probably thinking they're just going to dump on you, and it's probably the dumbest thing you've ever seen. Don't worry, we've thought about that. We have the dumper shield, right? We have that technology that we thought about. So it really is rewarding for early investors. And then at launch, we're going to have our system up and going, and we're going to have fees coming in from those 30 plus partners I have. Well, maybe a couple weeks after, once they all join, they're going to be raising money, and then we're going to have fees coming in from there buying our PDO token, and the price is going to be going up. And these early investors, they are locked. They can't sell a single token on the market through the dumper shield for 90 days, for 3 months. So for 3 months, there's 0 sell pressure. We're literally listing with 0 sell pressure, just with liquidity, which does not happen with any project. So for 3 months, not a single token will be, sold from investors. You're going to have all of this revenue pouring in from our different launch pads hosting these fundraisers. And I think these are going to be big fundraisers, like hundreds of millions of dollars in fundraising. And like I said, 2.5% adds up pretty quick when it's buying back your token. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is we're going to have our own PDOs for PDO project. This is when it starts to become matrixy, right? But anyways, we're going to have our own secondary offering for PDO project, and 100% of the funds are going to go back to buy back our token and go to liquidity. So if we have a PDO and we raise a casual $1 million in our PDO, for PDO project, which is so easy to do. I mean, you've seen the amount of projects are raising right now, like tens of millions of dollars for their IDO. If we just raise $1 million with zero sell pressure, I mean, I'm not going to really like speculate on the price action, but it's pretty wild. So those are our tokenomics. We're really, really proud of them. And then there's a bunch of more complicated things, but that's more or less our tokenomics. So let me jump back to any questions. So is there anything else, or should I jump over to freez quickly? Or, you know, because freez has really the same tokenomics and the same complicated, you know, concepts behind it. So it probably should be easier to understand that we've already discussed them. It's up to you guys.
I've got a couple.
Yeah,
questions,
yeah.
but I want to open it up to our group. I don't want to kind of hog the mic
Sure.
here. So
All right,
guys,
then I'll jump on chat. All right, chat. Hit me up with some questions.
Guys, come. Do you have any questions? Otherwise, I'm taking the mic.
No, feel free to grill me.
Well, Max, you're aptly named, man. Maximus. You remind me of the gladiator in the sense that, you know, that kind of name is earned. It's not just given. Sounds like
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you're solving some key problems, see, there's so many cryptos that are just there to be there. They're not really, like, it's not clear what they're actually doing, what their project is doing. So to me, you're very clear that you're solving the issue of liquidity, that when people get in early on a project, and how can they have some liquidity without dumping on the market. Like, that's a real issue. And it sounds like you're solving. I mean, this is from what I understand. I'm pretty stupid at this, so
no, don't say that.
But that's and to solve a problem like that in a win-win-win scenario where the company wins, the consumer wins, and the market wins. It takes some genius, takes some balls too. So that's what it sounds like to me, what you guys are doing. Am I?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, and that's what you're talking strictly about the dumper shield, which is a free tech that we give out, and that's not even related, to a token, right? That's just one of the added benefits that we just provide to the market. And I'm really proud of the dumper shield, right? Just eliminating dumping. But I talked so much, and maybe the main concept got lost throughout the entire pitch. But let's just walk back to that Shark Tank example. You walk into Shark Tank, you pitch to sharks, you raise money, right? They give you some money, but you are forbidden to raise more money. You have no way to raise money anymore. That's what crypto is today. When these projects list on the market, they feel the need to have to raise so much money in their initial round and come on the market at a huge valuation. I close like $100 million valuations for projects that have no working tech. Like you said, don't solve anything. They're freaking useless, most of them, and they have these giant valuations. And why is that? Because they don't have a way to raise more money. So they need to raise all of it and pump up their valuation at launch. Let's imagine a future. And this future is next year, where a project comes to me. Let's say I'm the shark now. Project comes to me and says, hey, Max, I have this wonderful idea. In 6 months, I'll have the test net working, and it's going to cost me probably $200,000 to get to my test net. And then marketing expenses, additional stuff. All I really need is $300,000 max. Okay, I fund the $300,000. He does an IDO, he lists, and he quietly starts to work. And guess what? He didn't sell 20% of his company in tokens. He didn't just sell out, and he didn't raise $10 million. Maybe he only sold 1% to Max, and Max is like one of the only shareholders, and maybe there's a few other people involved or whatever the situation is, right? Now he's a few months in or whatever, and his testnet's up and working, and he's starting to naturally grow a community, and people are joining. They're like, whoa, I love this. Can I get involved? Can I get in on this? He's like, sure, let's do a secondary offering. Let's sell some of these tokens to the community so they can get involved too. So he does a secondary offering. And you can do a private secondary offering. Let's say he needs strategic smart money. Now he does a secondary offering at a higher valuation. He does a Series A, right? So now he does a private PDO for top tier VCs. And let's say now he needs $2 million to reach his next target on his roadmap, which is in 1 year, he's going to have the working product. And these VCs are like, I trust him. He bootstrapped from day one. He only raised enough money to get his testnet done. He showed himself. So yeah, I'm happy to give him $2 million at a $20 million valuation because I know he'll do it. And then he can also do a PDO for the public because now the public has loved his testnet. They've gotten behind it. So now they can get in early on the project. And then so on and so forth. So while your product is getting better, while you're reaching each step in your roadmap, you can continually raise money as you see fit. And if you don't need more money, then don't raise more money and don't dilute yourself of your equity in your company that you've built and worked so hard for. But if you just need to cash out safely, we give you that option. If you need to just grow your liquidity, we give you that option. We're literally just giving you the Series A, the Series B, and the Series C in traditional finance, but in crypto in a 100% decentralized manner. And it's literally going to rock and shake how the entire space exists next year. I'm serious about it. We are going to look back on how we were fundraising money in 2021, 2020, and all those years before in crypto, and we're going to laugh at how stupid it was. Because honestly,
hey, Max,
when you think about it, it's pretty dumb. Yeah, jump in, please.
That's actually a really good point. I'm a startup founder myself, and
Yeah.
when we started our company back in 2016, we quickly started fundraising. And one of the biggest issues that I always saw with fundraising is like you have rounds, which is kind of stupid because you raise a round with kind of the anticipation of, okay, what do I need for the next 18 to 24 months? And you bump up your valuation like artificially in order to get enough money in and never last long enough anyways. So if there was a way, as you described, to basically gradually raise funds and just for the next milestone, the valuations would be a lot fairer instead of, I mean, you look around today, what we consider a seed round now was considered a Series A round 5 years ago, and it was considered a Series C round 10 years ago. Inflation, I mean, yeah, of course, inflation kicked in, but not at that breakneck speed. So no, I get your product. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I really appreciate the kind words, and exactly, you're seeing it from a starter's perspective, who's raising money and it's been in there and experienced that, and probably the people in this chat can start to understand it more from an investor perspective, right? Getting in early, but not buying into some crazy fairy tale roadmap, right? I've seen so many projects I launched today with $50 million valuations, and they're like, hey, I promise you in 5 years we're gonna be able to make this roadmap happen. Why should I believe you, right? Maybe you should raise slowly throughout the process and start to actually work on it and bootstrap the funds and raise enough as you need and see fit, and then gradually increase your valuation over time.
100%. And I think the big obstacle to that are VCs, because they will not go into a round where it's like, oh yeah, $200,000 here, $200,000, like a rolling close. No VC will do that. Most angel groups won't even do that. And I think that's wrong.
I think it's wrong too. And I work with a lot of VCs, and it's, you can't blame the VC because they're getting in and making a bunch of money. And you can't blame the project because, they're like, oh, it's all this free money. But I think once the PDO comes out, it's just sort of going to show, oh, okay, we've been sort of doing things wrong and we can just take our time with it. And I actually think it's going to really limit the bear markets, because if projects are going to have more, valuations according to their actual fundamental value, sure there's going to be speculation. Sure, you're going to overprice things because they have crazy potential growth, but I think it could honestly limit the bear markets. And the reason why we're so excited about PDO is because, one of our options was secure future. And I don't even need to start talking about it now because like I said, we have so many additional tech that goes with it. But the long story short is it actually allows you to invest into a PDO with zero opportunity cost. So now you can imagine buying into a secondary offering and at any point getting your money back plus interest. So it's a pretty wacky concept. And again, like if you guys really want to learn more about this, you can hit me up in your chat or hit me up in PDO chat on Telegram. I proudly live on Telegram. I'm probably on there 12 hours a day. But now you can invest, you can get the option to invest into a PDO. Your money's sitting on standby in your Finance or Venus earning you interest. And at any point you're like, okay, you know what, this is a great project, I'm gonna execute. Your funds will leave escrow, they'll leave that third party, and they'll go and buy the token into the secondary offering. Or you could sit on the sideline, be earning an APY, secure your spot in line, secure your cost basis, right, that original cost basis, because I said the price is, you know, because the price will probably be going up based off the cost basis. And then you could be like, I don't really want to invest in this project. Refund, click one button, get 100% of your funds back plus interest. And that's just one of the little things we added on for the bear market, right? Because in the bear market, no one wants to invest. There's too much risk. So why not take the risk out of investing? So that really is PDO. So anyone have more questions before? I mean, I could talk about freeze. I know this has already been going on for a long time. I don't want to hold people. We can talk about freeze another time. It's all good. Freeze is a much simpler project.
We're here for this, so you've got the floor, and but let's, yeah, this is a good natural pause. So other questions? By the way, Kyle, thank you in the chat. Sounds like you are very well familiar with the project, so thanks for answering a bunch of questions.
Kyle's a champ. Kyle is my boss.
Oh, Kyle's your boss. Okay.
Kyle is the COO of the Atom Foundation. So.
Awesome. Okay.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, but you're doing amazing, man. So listen, we have you here. Carpe diem, seize the day. Okay, David says, how do I buy? How do we get? Well, questions are, how do we get in? That's basically the question, right?
Okay, sure. So I mean, like I said, it's open to value-added investors. So if you're interested, you know, join our Telegram. I'll drop the link right now, and then you can talk with us. We don't have a set date on launch yet because we're focusing extremely hard on launching Smart Swap and Deegan Swap, but the timeline is the following. Deegan Swap should launch really, really, really soon. We're just hammering out the test net. The thing is, we do things a little differently. So there's been, you know, some people are probably like, you know, why hasn't Smart Swap launched yet? Or when are you launching? We don't really set hard dates because we launch with our mainnet. You know, 99% of projects don't launch with a mainnet. They launch with a fairy tale roadmap. Maybe a few will launch with a test net. We launch with a mainnet. So I mean, if you're into crypto, you'll know how it is. You know, you're constantly just coming when you're trying to solve new issues, right? You're breaking boundaries. So it's hard to actually determine a fixed date. But so here, I'll drop the Telegram in the chat. So, but PDO is launching 2 weeks after Smart Swap. The PDO tech is basically built. We just got to put final touches on it. And the reason why it's launching 2 weeks after Smart Swap, which again, Smart Swap should launch pretty soon, is that, like I said, Smart Swap is going to have a secondary offering. So we need the PDO project to be live. And we think there's going to be a lot of interest to get into Smart Swap. A lot of people have been wanting to get into Smart Swap, but the rounds are closed. So the next best opportunity to get into Smart Swap will be our secondary offering. And the secondary offering will feed you know, the PDO project. It will cause PDO token to buy back its own project with zero sell pressure. We start going back into the whole tokenomics, and I'm so excited about just the price performance of PDO. So that's timeline for everyone. Let's see.
Max, can you walk us through a worst case scenario, like a realistic worst case scenario, and what that means for investors? And
yeah, you know what, that's extremely fair. And you know, I've been here just saying, hey, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. I think really the worst case scenario comes down to is if our education is not on par. We're breaking boundaries and we're introducing a new concept to crypto. And I believe it's a great idea. When I teach people and can sit down enough and educate people, they usually come on board and say, wow, it's a great idea. Those are the launch pads, those are the people, you know, selling the project, you know, hosting the projects. When I speak to founders, like the gentleman I just spoke to, right, someone who's been raising money in the trenches, they think it's a great idea. When I speak to investors, they don't really understand it all of them, right, because they're still young to crypto and stuff, but the ones that are more experienced, they sort of understand the concept. So what's the downside? I think the downside is if people just don't, understand the concept well enough. But luckily for us, the way that we're trying to prevent that downside, which again is, like I said, it's a possibility. The way we're trying to prevent that is with our scaling solution, making this tech available for everyone. I don't need to go and preach PDO to everyone, right? You guys probably haven't heard about it until now. The reason is we're going to have all of our partners do that. Starter, one example, a Launchpad with probably 50,000 plus community members. A lot of people know Starter. That's like one of the many Launchpads I'm connected with. They're starting a whole campaign to educate their users and teach everyone what a PDO is, to teach projects why they should do a PDO, right? Because it's in their best interest. When you align the interest, then things start working. Because if Starter can get the concept of PDO out there, they can make so much money, right? Starters, and they can buy back and burn their token, and their users will be happy, right? So that's how we're trying to prevent that downside, is by aligning the interest and allowing other people to do the education and the growth of the project for us. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think there's still some people.
Sure.
So here's, I'm just a speculator over here, and I'm still not clear what.
Sure. Yeah. Let me walk that through that one more time. So PDO token, right? You don't need PDO. Okay. So when you have a Launchpad, you have to hold a certain amount of tokens in that Launchpad to participate in that Launchpad, right? You have to buy them and stake them and something. It's easy. Okay. It's like, oh, I have to hold that token. The token's worth money in order to participate in that Launchpad or whatever product. A lot of projects do that. We do things differently. Again, we have a mainnet and we have a working product that prints money, at least in theory, right? It's going to print money. It's going to print fees. So with those fees, we just buy back our token. And then, a lot of people buy back and burn. We actually buy back, take out of circulation, and refund users. And I think this is actually a great time to go back to the concept of 100% reimbursement. That's something we're really proud of. So I'll walk you through that in a second. So how does PDO token grow value? Well, if the PDO concept takes off and a Launchpad, let's say a Launchpad hosts a PDO for a project, okay? This could be a project that needs to, like I said, raise more money or just grow attention or grow liquidity, whatever it is, right? Let's say that project does $1 million in their secondary offering. That's nothing. I mean, I'm telling you, that's nothing. Every day there's hundreds of millions of dollars in initial rounds happening. So let's just say they do $1 million in their secondary offering. The Launchpad will charge that project whatever they want. If the Launchpad wants to charge that project 5% or $50,000, that's their choice. If they want to charge them nothing, that's their choice. The PDO token does not take direct value from that. But there's going to be $1 million in buy pressure from the public. The public is going to pay a 2.5% fee on top of whatever they purchase. So Max goes into a PDO offering and buys $1,000 worth. Does he buy it on one Launchpad, the other Launchpad, it's on cross display, wherever he buys it, it does not matter. Whatever chain, it does not matter. He buys $1,000 worth, he pays a $25 fee on top. So he actually spends $1,025, okay? A 2.5% fee. That fee goes back to buy back PDO token. Done. We have a revenue model and PDO token. The more you buy something, right, the more it goes up in value, and we're taking out of circulation. But now let's walk through quickly how you get reimbursed. Because I keep saying we're going to reimburse users 100% of their fees and our gas, right? And if I keep saying we're a business, right, there's not a lot of money to be made when you're reimbursing everyone. So how does it work? We reimburse users 100% of their fees and gas. So let's walk through an example. Let's say you've been actively using PDOs, you've been investing in a lot of projects through a PDO, and at the end of 6 months, you have gathered, let's make it easy, $500 in PDO fees and $500 in gas fees, right? Just typical gas fees. That's $1,000. Two, that $1,000 actually goes and sits in some sort of escrow in a smart contract. And to be able to unlock that $1,000 or your $1,000 in fees and gas, you have to perform an action. We don't just give it to you, right? That'd be too easy. We need our token to perform well. you have to go back and buy a 1-to-1 equal amount of our PDO token and stake it. So now let's walk through this example. After 6 months, you have $1,000 of gas and fees. It's sitting in escrow. Here's your $1,000. To get out your $1,000, you have to go buy an additional, or you have to stake an additional. So most likely, if you don't have it in your wallet, you have to go buy a 1-to-1 equal amount. So you have to go and get a $1,000 worth of PDO tokens. Now you stake it, and over the course of a year, your $1,000 will be distributed and unlocked to you. So after 365 days, you can pull out your principal of your staking, and then you can pull out the money that we owe you. So what did that solve? After 6 months, right? Let's say you didn't want to stake for the entire time, you can pull out 500, only half. So now we're reimbursing over time, right? Not all at once. You have to go perform an action, and this action is buying our token. So the more now, it's this endless cycle where now you have fees and you want to get reimbursed, but to get reimbursed, you have to go buy the token and stake it. So you're essentially earning a 100% APY. It's a clever way to just say, instead of saying we're giving you 100% APY, we're marketing it differently. We're saying, hey, we're reimbursing all of your gas and fees. So that's, again, all these concepts sort of take a while to just sit down and just brainstorm out and just think through. I'm up all night long just like thinking about these concepts. But yeah, that's our idea behind it. So long story short is everything comes back to buying PDO token. Whenever there's a fee, whenever there's an opportunity, there is buy pressure for PDO token. And when there's buy pressure and there's limited sell pressure because of our dumper shield, and the price isn't going down because of the dumper shield, there's great opportunity for price appreciation for PDO. So, you said NASDAQ. Yeah, that's super interesting. I think I actually have the team here, except the team doesn't have me on there, which is something we got to add, Kyle. No, so these are our advisors, and these are, the management team. And you can see our advisors, we're really, really proud of our advisors, right? Because for the past, 4 or 5 years, when everyone was raising money and marketing, we were working hard and securing great advisors, right? So one of our advisors is a former chairman of the SEC. We have the former chairman of the NASDAQ. So we are on path to list on the NASDAQ. We do everything 100% SEC compliant, totally legit. And the super interesting part is not only will all of our revenue on our stock, be directly correlated to the performance of our different projects. Here's something cool that most people don't know. PDO token, we have a router system, and a router basically allows you to swap, almost like OTC, you could think, between our different projects. So you could constantly swap between our different projects. But something else you'll be able to do is swap into our stock and swap into early stage equity in our IPO. So we're going to be giving our token holders early access to our initial offering, which is pretty sick. I don't think any other project has really given that opportunity yet to their token holders. So that's something we're also excited about. So that answers your NASDAQ question. Am I on the current website? Am I? Oh, yeah, I'm on the website. Yeah, this is the deck. My bad. Okay, so yeah, so that's PDO. That's a little bit more about Adam Foundation. Any Kathy Wood should love it. Yeah, there you go. Any other questions about that? Then I don't want to bore you guys. I'm gonna cut myself off at 4 probably, so I don't keep you guys forever. I can quickly talk about freeze in 2 minutes.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. All right, cool. As far as the technicals go, we can talk about that another time. So freeze, so simple. It's so beautiful. You can, if I have $1,000 of Ethereum, I can click freeze. Our testnet works, and you can freeze your $1,000 of Ethereum, and you could come back at any point. 6 months later, a year later, the market could crash 50%, and you just click unfreeze. Well, actually, you have to be on our BSC testnet or whatever, and you will get back $1,000 of Ethereum. The market can crash, and you can get back your same $1,000. We are freezing volatility. So instead of selling, this is different than selling. This is not like a selling to a stable coin, because the beauty of freezing is there's no tax consequence because it's a loan. So it's a very elegant idea where we think that we're actually replacing stable coins. We don't see a point for stable coins after we adopt freeze, because you will get back your frozen tokens, and your frozen tokens will always be worth the same USD value that they were the moment you froze them. And you can unfreeze them at any point, pay a small freeze fee or unfreeze fee. We actually don't charge for freezing, and you will get back the exact same dollar value. So, Kyle's dropping some more messages, and now it gets super exciting because, this is one that you just understand right off the top of your head. You're like, so you're telling me I can, Bitcoin hits 64K, I can freeze, wait, and then unfreeze and get a, or whatever, right? That's the beauty of it. And, our solution, again, we make all of our technology white label. So now imagine MetaMask. MetaMask takes our freeze license and they implement it into their wallet, which is totally possible, right? We're working with different wallets. We're working with different centralized exchanges. And now MetaMask has the freeze function. So now you're on MetaMask, and instead of clicking sell Ethereum, you can just click freeze Ethereum. No tax consequence. Market falls and you can unfreeze, and you totally protected yourself from volatility. Or maybe they can even develop a panic button, right, on Binance Smart Chain, right, or on Binance Exchange. They have a panic button, and it's called bear market panic button. And you think that the bear market is coming, you can click panic, and it will sell all of your crypto. Actually, it won't sell all of your crypto. It will freeze all of your crypto in one click and protect you from volatility, right? They can do that if they want. That's the beauty of the free license. We give that option. We give the creativity to the person who wants to take it. But that's more or less freeze, right? In one click, you can freeze the dollar value of your crypto with no tax consequence, and it's 100% decentralized. And the really cool part is that we are over collateralized. So in our traditional financial system, everything is under collateralized. Like banks are like 10% collateralized. Freeze is over collateralized, meaning we actually have more than 100% backing it. It's pretty wild when you start to dive into it. And the coolest part is that it's constantly making more money. So when we get to 120% over collateralization, which happens pretty fast, we actually start to distribute that back to frozen token holders. So not only now could you imagine, holding something that's better than USDC. Because the problem with USDC or USDT, it's not a stable coin. I hate to break it to you, but when your stable coin is going up or down a few percent every day, that is not stable. Freeze is so stable. It is literally impossible for it to go down 1 penny. If you have $100 worth of frozen tokens, it will always be worth $100. It won't be worth $101. It won't be worth $100 and 0.0001 penny. It will be worth $100. It is the most frozen. It's the best version of a stable coin. So then, with the over collateralization, we can start to actually distribute that back to the shareholders or to the token holders. So they're actually earning an APY while holding these alternatives to stable coins. So that's freeze. I'll drop the chat in there. We're hosting this sale at the same time as PDO, and the thing is with freeze is I think it was actually built in 2018, or no, 2018 or 2019, and the team's just been sitting on it. And the reason being is that they're all about timing, and they haven't really seen the need to push out freeze yet, because one, there wasn't really a fear of a bear market, right? Now that everyone's been talking, right? I heard about in the last one. What happens in a bear market? Freeze. Like, we need freeze. What happens when Tether FUD blows up and USDT goes to crap? Freeze. We need a 100% decentralized solution, right? Something that we can constantly see on chain that is over collateralized, and your money's safe and your funds are there, right? This is what we need. We need a stable coin alternative that's actually stable, right? This is your bear market solution. So we're really, really excited about pushing this out now. When everyone's talking about maybe we're at the top, maybe we're not. I don't speculate. I don't care. I invest in great projects for the long run, but this is the excitement with freeze, and if you do quickly with the tokenomics, you know, when you unfreeze, you pay a fee. The fee goes back to buy back frozen tokens, and that's how it works. And if MetaMask had this built in, you can imagine, you know, I mean, how much frozen tokens would be bought back. So that's our scaling solution there. So yeah,
this is still in testnet, Max. So is that right?
Yeah, the testnet's live. You can try it. You can go. I think Kyle's been dropping the chat. You know, feel free to try it. But we're releasing mainnet at the same time as PDO. So 2 weeks after SmartSwap. I mean, it is ready to go.
Do you have a set date? Do you have a particular date? Because part of what we do here is we pick good dates.
Oh, you do? Well, I can't help you there because our problem is that we are still in final testing with SmartSwap. And when we're releasing mainnets, we got to make sure they work perfectly.
If you know a few days out, let's say you're like, okay, everything's been cleared. Would it be possible to drop us a line, like just shoot us a line and go, hey, we're going live, you know, December 1st or whatever?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, what do you? So can you tell me a little bit more about what you guys do with dates and what do you?
Yeah. So we look at rhythms. You know, there are a lot of techniques. There's GAN and there's all kinds of techniques. Like when you look at the Facebook IPO, it's kind of a famous example. They did their IPO a couple of days before a major eclipse, and that, you know, there shouldn't be any correlation, right? If you're a logical sort of scientific-minded person. But history bears out the fact that there are correlations. And so what happened with this very, you know, exciting, strong, fundamental company is that it fell 50% in value, and it stayed below that for a year, right? So teachers' pensions, people's life savings were all in question. Now, obviously, after that, it went on to do amazing things. So having a bad day to start on it's not the death of the marriage, you can say, but if you get married and it's lightning and thunder and, you know, cops get called, it doesn't start off the marriage well. And if you're very compatible, you're going to move on and live a very happy life eventually. But still, we want to minimize the damage, and we want to start on a very good day so that even mediocre projects get a really good head start. And I think what these two projects that you've just enumerated here are so clever, and they're so win-win-win. Like, that's what I love about it. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's the essence of crypto, is a democratization of access to these kinds of things. So yeah, so we want to help you, you know, make sure you guys start on a good day so that you're off on the right, you know, well begun is half done, right? That there's a famous saying. So we use you know, we use cycles, we use astral cycles and things like that to look at, hey, this day may be good. You want to avoid eclipses. That's a kind of a big thing. And if Zuckerberg had spent a couple $100 to hire one of us, we would have told him, dude, wait a week, you'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, then we will for sure message you about that. That's something that I've never thought about. I'm all about timing, but you know, in crypto, right, you want to launch on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? That's sort of the rule of thumb. But you're giving a different approach, right?
It's a different. If that Tuesday has no obstacles, great, do it. But if there's a bunch of bad stuff kind of, you know, happening, then maybe wait a couple days. So that's what we do here. That's the basis. Cool. And I mean, I think you have great energy. I think you've laid it out. I can't say that I understand everything 100%, but like you said, we have to brainstorm. We got to kind of go over this a number of times.
Yeah.
And I think this is worthwhile because you're also solving a bunch of problems. Just this freeze is a no-brainer. Like, why?
That's the thing. So PDO is so complex that maybe I should have started with freeze. Freeze is something where if I can tell you what freeze is, you immediately understand it because you have all experienced the USDT FUD, the problem with paying taxes, and then the issue of stablecoins not being stable, and then the issue of, you know, selling, and we've all been there, right? And now if you could just click a button and freeze the dollar value of your tokens and not have to worry, right? If I go on vacation and I don't want to trade for a week, I can just freeze all my tokens. I can go on vacation, come back, unfreeze, and all of my tokens are worth the exact same dollar value. If the market went up, so what? Opportunity cost. I enjoyed my vacation with no stress. If the market went down, well, I just protected myself 100%. So that's freeze, and freeze just makes sense. And PDO, I promise you, makes sense. It's just you just have to dive into it and really, 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 start to think a little wildly, right? The freeze helps us today. PDO, I think, will help us tomorrow.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And
Thank
I
you so
love your,
much. Appreciate it.
I love your intensity and passion about it too. Let me, what was I going to say? Just split my mind. Does anyone have any final thoughts? Yes, the recording, I can get you the recording, not a problem. I'll send that to you. You can cut it and, because we talked about.
And yeah, quickly, Kyle's mentioning that we can apply freeze to traditional stocks. And that's something I'm working on with some of my connections that are bringing one-to-one actual stocks to the traditional market, to the crypto market. Not just synthetics, but actual stocks to crypto. We're working on implementing freeze, right? So now imagine instead of tax harvesting in stocks, how big that is. They don't need to tax harvest anymore. They can just freeze. And
is that solid though? That you're sure this is not a taxable event? Freezing?
Yeah, 100%. Because we're just issuing it's a loan. And again, everything we do is 100% SEC compliant. We hire the world's best accountants. Like we make sure, right? Because if we're gonna get in front of the SEC and list on the stock market, I mean, you want to make sure everything's good, right?
Yeah, that is amazing. And I'm not, I'm not holding you to. I'm not saying you're an accountant. And this is not financial advice, gotcha. But that is huge because tax loss harvesting and taxable events, those of you who did well last year and sold some of your crypto, you know what I'm talking about. It's a big deal. So this is just a game changer to me. Okay, any other questions? I'm glad we covered this, by the way.
I'm happy we covered freeze too. And maybe next time I jump into a chat with people, I'll start with freeze. So this is a great learning experience for me too. So I appreciate everyone taking the time to listen to me.
And by the way, if it is a loan, so Celsius offers loans, right? So and that's one of the big selling points of taking a loan with Celsius is that you don't incur a taxable event. And so and their loans are very low interest, 1%, which is why we like Celsius. So if this is a loan, then yeah, it's absolutely, again, I'm not an accountant. This is not financial advice or tax advice. Definitely talk to your accountant. But if that's the same thing, then no, it's not a taxable event.
And here's the difference from Celsius. These loans are 100% loan to value. It doesn't make any sense because it doesn't exist in crypto, and it doesn't even exist in traditional finance. Right?
That is crazy.
So, yeah, you're giving us $100, we're giving you $100 back. And once you look into it and dive into it, you guys are probably thinking it's not possible. And how does that work? The reason it works and the reason no one has been able to do it, because in the background, you have Smart Swap and you have those slippage-free trades going on. And that is how this is possible. So all of our tech is working together to create solutions that we've never seen before on the market.
Yeah. So it's, yeah. Wow. Okay. That is definitely very cool. So we've got links. Do we have the links? We've got links to the Telegram. That's all. Is that all we need?
Yeah. I mean, so I think we'll send. What do you guys? Should we send the white papers as well? Like what'll you? Because we can give you all that on Telegram. Whatever you guys need.
Yes. Please. Whatever you can. What you feel comfortable. Please share.
Sure.
So we're fully informed.
Yes, we'll send you the white papers for both projects and all the accompanying documents as well. And I have videos online, so I know everyone's like, I love your energy and stuff. I mean, this is what I live and breathe is crypto, fighting dumpers, right? Helping out liquidity. So I do YouTube videos because I think a lot of people are visual learners and don't just want to read a boring white paper. So So join our Telegram. I can send you my YouTube videos too. I think I have like 30 subscribers. So I'm an up and coming YouTuber, you can say.
Let's go.
Perfect. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you all so much.
All right. Yes, thank you so much. And thank you for everyone, to Chris, who joined us from Toonly. Thank you to Dimitri. Thank you for Max and Kyle for your time. And I think you're going to be seeing some of us get very seriously involved here. So
yeah, join our community. We'd love to have you join the DAO family. So
awesome.
we're here.
Awesome. Likewise.
Yes,
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Take care.
All
All
right.
right.
You as well.